Good afternoon. It's Friday, July 24th. We're going to go over the 5 different indicators I look at for Bitcoin prices and then make some predictions about what I think will happen next. If you're new to the channel, be sure to head over to introtocryptos.ca and sign up for the free course. I used to charge $297 for this course, but now I give it away for free. You get a 27-minute webinar and a 30-page trading. And I'm going to talk more about what's going on with the altcoins using our bull market watch spreadsheet. Now let's dive in and take a look at the long-term chart, and then we'll come back to this shorter-term chart and talk about this divergence that I'm seeing right there. In the weekly relative strength index, the main thing I'm seeing on this is the level that we are at right now all the way along. We were there before as we came through our 2017 flatline market, and we could go down from here. It could go up and down sideways for a while, and I'm expecting some sideways stuff for a while. I'm actually not expecting the trend to continue on up to 85,000 from here. When I look in the daily time frame and we get into the closer time frames, I like to see that this trend for the RSI has been broken. That's a bullish setup for me. And this divergence right here from these triple bottoms is kind of like the 3 touches of death. The downtrend is dead once it's hit this 3 times and bounced off it. When we go into the 12-hour time frame, same thing. It's broken that nice downtrend line all the way along. That's really key, and I think that's going to be good for the next short term. When we go into the 4-hour, we can see that there's a similar downward trend in the prices, or the relative strength index, and it bounced off this bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times as we came across this. So that was really strongly bullish. Now that we've come from this bottom oversold territory right into the overbought territory, and we're coming up to support and resistance levels through this range, I think we have seen the move that we're going to see here so far today. Now when we zoom into the closer time frame relative strength index, this is where I'm seeing a divergence that's important to mark out. Prices have done this breakout. They broke out strongly from here. Really good, nicely done. And once it broke out above this, I did take a little short long position, and I've closed it now as this divergence is sort of screaming in my ear and I can't ignore it. If we go into the 15-minute time frame, this divergence is showing more prominence, really, where we've got a higher high but a lower high in the relative strength index. So for me, this is pretty much run its steam now, and we got a mini little 1, 2, 3 top formation right here. If it breaks below that top formation as this RSI pattern is breaking, that's like a short signal, and maybe it'll, who knows how far it'll come back. We'll just keep watching it from there. Now let's go on to the next indicators. When we're looking at the MACD indicator weekly, we can see that it's lost its downward momentum and it's going sideways here, but not enough to turn around and say that we've got the weekly trend turned back on. Not until that crosses positive on those markers. On the daily time frame, we can see this 3 touches of death is standing out more to me. So 3 touches of death is 1, 2, 3 times it hits off this level. That trend is dead. It's not going that way anymore. If this was inverted, yeah, there we go. So there's the 3 touches of death. If it was going this way, I would definitely say that's a top and it's going the other direction. So I got to pay attention to that being a bottom, especially when we're seeing this MACD showing us a positive divergence. So it's showing strength at this time frame. And so the little wiggle of this price pulling back and then going higher is going to be small cookies, really. When we get into the 12-hour time frame, I like it that the histogram is positive. The blue is crossed above the red. That's bullish. It can go quite a ways with the blue staying above the red as the prices may pull back and retest these levels and make a stronger move, and this will stay positive the whole time, I'm assuming. The 4-hour, it may have more wobble in it. It may cross and cross and cross as we are going up, and that's quite normal. So if this does cross over, it'll confirm that we are pulling back, and we'll watch for it to recross positive for the end of that downtrend. So here again is another one of those divergences that really jumps out at me and made me close my long position that I had open, is that this is really diverging. It's just not showing the strength on this 1 hour time frame. It's not showing the continuation all the way along. If the blue was to stay positive and the histogram start to grow and we're getting breaking above these levels, okay, all bets off the table then, and away we go. But I'm still watching for this to be a top. When we go into the 15-minute time frame, I'll be watching for this little 1, 2, 3 top formation to break lower, and for this to be crossing the blue back underneath the red as that's breaking lower, and that'll confirm to me that we are pulling back for a little bit. And it's just like noise. This kind of price range for me is just noise. So let's continue on to see what else our charts tell us. The unbalanced volume, well, it was just so beautiful in the way that was showing the top as it was running out of steam. That was really, really great. When we go into the daily time frame now, we can see that there was dumping, less dumping, and less dumping, and now we've gone into a positive buying here. So there's another good positive, strong divergence from the bearishness on this 3 touches of death, as the selling got less and less strong as we tried to touch the same levels. So now let's zoom in on the 12-hour time frame. Same thing, where we can see the less and less selling on each of those triple bottom there. And here's a small divergence. It's not that significant that the volume is a little bit less as we go to this second high. It's showing that, it's just running out of steam to me, that's as high as it's going to go for the next little bit. And then we're going to see it pull back. I would imagine, and I am only imagining because no one can tell the future, I would expect, and I would like it actually, to come back to these levels and make a 1, 2, 3 formation where I could put on the start of my long position. And if it came up and then bounced around here and broke out, I could add on to my long position on that kind of setup. So that would be ideal for me if it would give that and gave us the indicators giving a more bullish divergence instead of the bearish pullback divergence they're giving us right now. This would be the optimum for me. On the Ichimoku Cloud, the blue line is definitely a long ways below the red line. It's not looking like it's going to be bouncing off this cloud and continuing on the trend. Not yet. When we go into the daily time frame, we can see that it is coming up to touching the cloud, and the blue line is still below the red. So that's got to cross over, and it's got to punch all the way through this cloud before the daily is actually going to give us the signal for the Ichimoku Cloud, and it's going to make us wait all the way until there. So it gives us enough room that there's going to be a bunch of noise before it actually goes up and breaks through that. It could come back here and give us some noise and then break up through that. So the daily Ichimoku Cloud doesn't say big bull right away here. Now the 12-hour is starting to look like it's going to cross there and poke through the cloud, which means that if this were to poke through the cloud and come up and touch the next little support and resistance, and then make a retest of this level and hold above the cloud, this would be really bullish. That would be really great on the 12-hour time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see that it's already broken up through the cloud. We got the blue line crossing above the red. We're clear. It's the cloud is twisted green. It's looking good, and this could easily come back to these levels and fool around for a bit before it took off, and this would still hold us in a positive hold your long position by what the Ichimoku Cloud is telling us. On the 1-hour time frame, same thing. This is actually showing a trend that is an important part of what the Ichimoku Cloud can tell us. It can tell us when to buy on a continuation when the trend has started. And the way it does that is that it comes down, touches the cloud, the blue line crosses above the red, and there's our buy signal. Pretty clear, pretty obvious. And then if you had bought that, you'd put your stop above your entry and just let the market do the rest of the work. It's not our job anymore. And it could take all of its time doing all this stuff, and then it would be time to add on if it started to break above these levels. And we've got a few different indicators that'll tell us to add on if that were to happen. So I like what the Ichimoku Cloud is telling us here on the 1-hour time frame, really giving us enough room as well to sit back on this. If we go into the Bollinger Bands for the weekly, we're definitely still not in a bull trend. We have to get up above this midline before it's a bull trend. The cloud is really wide, so I'm not expecting that it's going to start really trending or breaking out hard. Usually the cloud gets really narrow before that happens. So as we go into the Bollinger Bands and we're looking at the daily, it's pretty narrow bands and it's crossed over the midline, which is bullish, and it could have the space to come back and retest that level, no problem, and the bands would probably get more narrow, indicating a stronger breakout is building up. On the 12-hour time frame, we're starting to trend. It's running along that bottom inside band and staying above these levels. And if it keeps doing that, man, it could really keep going. My bias is that it's going to pull back, and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for the price to go outside the second band here, the outer band, which is the third standard deviation. But both the 12-hour and the 4-hour are still looking trending from this indicator. When we go into the 1 hour, it also has that same type of idea where if it goes outside that third standard deviation, usually that's the bottom of that temporary move right there. And again, as it goes outside the third standard deviation on its way up. So here, it could be running out of steam. So here, it really came close to touching that third standard deviation. The bands have narrowed down, indicating that there's probably a strong move coming. So if it does break above these levels, it's probably got some juice that's going to keep it going. But what the other indicator is giving us, the divergences, I'm still anticipating this is going to pull back from where we are. So here in the 15-minute, it came up outside that third standard deviation. Now it's pulled in the middle, and it's not showing that it's trending on this as we're setting up. So should that cross below the midline, I'd expect that we're going to be pulling back and retesting the support and resistance from below. And for my own trading style, I would like that. It would be good for me if it did that. It would give me a better, clearer entry as we are coming up to that. Let's go on now and take a look at the longs and the shorts. The longs have been easing off as we've been taking up here. So they're closing their long position as prices are going up. They are selling into that buying volume, which gives me the idea that it's probably going to be pulling back. I'm kind of biased that way. Maybe I'm wanting it. But when I go into the longer term, I guess I'll go into even longer term, and I'm looking at the longs versus the shorts. It's really important for me because the longs are now at a historically higher level than they've been before. And because they're way out there like that, wow, I just think generally the crowd is wrong when we see the longs going to such an extreme position. Doesn't mean that they're not going to be right and that they're going to really make a big killing as things take off. But generally, as that sets up like that, and one side, the longs or the shorts, go to an extreme, it's usually they're wrong, and there's going to be something going on because of that, against that. So that's one of the reasons that as we zoom back into the 1 hour time frame, and we look at the 1 hour time frame of the longs, and we can see that as we had this breakout, the longs are not jumping onto that breakout. They're actually selling out of their positions. They're taking that opportunity to close their positions. We'll see how that turns out. What's the last chart I have here? Again, here we're indicating the divergences here, especially in the MACD on the 1 hour time frame. Really strong divergence right now. Should this, the green stay above the red and start to flare wider and break above this down trend line that I have here in this divergence, it could mean that it's going to keep going, but it would seem more natural for the market for it to pull back and retest support levels. You know, and all the people who have jumped in late there, they get wrecked. It's just the normal pattern of the market. Another thing to pay attention to in the Ichimoku Cloud is that the further the blue and the red line are apart, it's sort of like an overbought and oversold indicator. They like to be close together. So when they get really far apart, they generally will try to come back together again, no matter which way they are. If the blue is far below the red, they'll try to come back together. So it's kind of like an overbought, oversold indicator. And we may be overbought right here with the blue so wide from the red. And again, the Bollinger Bands on the 1 hour time frame, we are touching up against that third standard deviation. Usually it's a top when that happens, and not always. So I'm really keen to see how this plays out. So let's finish off now by reminding you to head over to introtocryptos.ca, sign up for the free course and the training, the webinar, and the free study guide that goes along with it. then come and join us on our Discord forum. There's lots of free stuff going on there. I love to teach all this stuff so that you have an advantage when you're coming into our forum. You know what the trading system that we're all talking about and how we're approaching the market, so you can have questions that'll help you make this into a tool that you can use. And one of the things we do is we go through all 277 different cryptos on Binance every day, and we color code where they stand in our trading system. So if they are neutral, that means that they are not near the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation to take off. So with all of these coins, 167 on Binance right now that are neutral, it actually turns out to be really fantastic. I've got to go over now and give you a visual picture of, let's go to the Binance Bull Market Watch spreadsheet. And where are we? March of 2021. So the yellow means get ready. It's going to pass our it's coming up close to our entry signal. Green means that's the buy signal. That's to hold that trade as it's going along. This is the 4-hour EMA is crossed, so you can hold until it turns to a black line. So all of these cryptos from March, February, March, April, they were all in great hold positions. You see all this green all the way across. Really wonderful, and all of these alts really took off and were really flourishing as Bitcoin dominance was dropping. And here we can see a chart for Bitcoin dominance, where from mid-January all the way through until May, dominance was dropping, which means altcoins are taking off and gaining value in US dollar faster than Bitcoin is. Now that dominance is in a bottom formation, that shows that the altcoins were in a top formation, and it's time to take your profit. So this is when you buy your altcoins, and this is when you sell and you take your profits. And the great thing is to see in the bull market watch how it told us here in April and May which ones to get out of and when to get out of them. Even those that came back up a little bit, we could get back into them but get back out. They were a little bit unsure. And we went through across all of these different cryptos. The bull market watch covers everything. So it really shows you graphically which coins to get in, when, and when to get out of them, when to take your profits. Now we can see that most everything is in neutral. Some of them are coming up to alert status. Very few of them are in hold status right now as we look across all this right up until July 22nd. We can see all of the data. And every day we update these color-coded spreadsheets so that you can quickly look at the cover page for our reports here. And you can see how many are in neutral position. Not only that, but we can see exactly, there are 5 new alerts. We can see specifically which coins are in alert over on Poloniex and which coins are in alert and hold status here in Binance. We really make it easy for you to quickly grab all the information you need to see which coins are following along our trend following system. This chart up here is the gray shows how many are in neutral. The yellow shows how many are in alert stance. They're almost coming up to our signals. And when they turn green, that's our time to buy it. So most of the altcoins have pulled back. Most of them are in neutral stance. And if you would like to jump into this and get this spreadsheet, all you need to do is come over to the Bull Market Watch here on the website, and you can see the most recent data. It shows you how many are in near fail, how many are in alert status right now. On Poloniex we have 15, on Binance we have 41 in alert status, and those ones could be taking off anytime. You'll see exactly how to notice when something is in alert status, when to hold it, when to exit your trade. It's all here, and you can sign up for this $20, $24, $25 a month, or $9.95 a month if you pay in crypto. We'd be happy to have you along and join up in our spreadsheets. I'll be doing a bunch more videos now to cover everything that's going on in the cryptos. I'll probably do 20 cryptos per video, and there's 277 of them, so it's going to take me a few days to do all of those videos. I'm super grateful to have you guys along. Good luck in all of your trading. Let's tune in tomorrow to see how this turns out, and if prices are going to pull back here and make a bigger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation for us to trade on. Thanks again. Good luck in all your trading. I'll see you over on Discord.